All right, we got Coach here. You guys can start firing away.
Hey guys.
Hey, Coach. I'm curious about your last 3 years. So you're at Maryland, and the coach is fired mid-season. You go to Rutgers, the coach is fired mid-season. You go to Arizona, the coach is fired mid-season. Is it I don't know, does it feel a little safer to be at a startup where a coach probably isn't going to be fired mid-season?
Yeah, to say the least. Yeah, it's really good to be here at Illinois and back together with Coach Bielema. This is an opportunity of a lifetime to rejoin him, on this staff. And yeah, really fortunate to be at the front end of this thing, and really excited to, to see what we're going to do here.
So for your family, for all the trips you've taken and bouncing around the country and such, does it feel like this is maybe a little more permanent thing than what you've been through?
Yeah, it's what we've been looking for. Our kids are at an age that they're I have a 7 and a 10-year-old, so we really want to stabilize them before they get into junior high. So this was a blessing to get this opportunity to come here.
Thanks.
Hey, Andy, Scott Beatty, WDWS. Welcome to town.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, sorry, I just drew a blank. I know it. Ryan Walters is your defensive coordinator, and good resume, but young. Do you expect that maybe you'll be somebody he kind of leans on a little bit, and that you'll be, I don't know if you want to call it a mentor, but somebody kind of brings that experience into it?
No, I don't see it that way. I'm just a real piece to the puzzle. Ryan's a bright mind. He's had a lot of success in his early career. I think we're gonna put this all together. But yeah, we're looking forward to his leadership, and we're really excited to work with him. I've heard nothing but great things about him. So yeah, no, I think a little bit of both, though. I think I could add some things just because of my familiarity with the Big Ten. But for the most part, man, I'm just excited to be here and to work with Ryan and Terrence and Aaron. I think Coach Bielema has done a great job of putting the staff together, a lot of like-minded people, and yeah, I'm just really excited to get in that room and start to talk football.
A couple of key pieces of the linebacking core are moving on, and Jake Hansen and Milo Eifler. So what's the next steps to building up? I know there's some good talent that is there, but it still feels like it's a thin position at the moment.
Yeah, I'm still getting to know the players a little bit. I've talked to all of them, but got a chance to watch Tyreek on film this morning, and Caleb. Both of those guys are very talented players. And I'm just really excited to get into spring football, and actually just getting around these guys to get to know them and their families, and then getting into spring football to see what we can do. I know there are some injuries there that we're trying to overcome. So we'll see. We'll see what we got. As we go through the winter conditioning and spring football practice, and I think there's enough talent in the building to do some things this year.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, Andy, Joey Wagner, 24/7 Sports. You talked about coming back and getting a chance with Brett again, but if I'm not mistaken, you guys had just the 1 year together in 2012, right? What was so profound about that year that made this such an attractive opportunity to be back with him?
Well, the football life, like going through a football season with a bunch of coaches, is like spending like 3 or 4 regular years with somebody, right? Because we're together around the clock, 20, not 15 to 16 hours a day for, 7 or 8, 9 months out of the year, or 12 months out of the year, so you get to know people pretty well through that process in a year's time. And, just going through this profession and working with a lot of different people, I've always gravitated to how to how Brett's leadership style and how he manages the team and the staff. He's just awesome. Like we're all really fired up to be a part of the staff and to be with Coach, because he's just, and you guys will find out as you go through this process with him that he's just one of the best in our industry.
And you've had experience as a coordinator, as a position coach. I guess, is there like a pro and con list of each? One suit you better than the other? Why was this the right fit from the football standpoint?
No, I mean, coaching's coaching. Obviously the coordinator position, requires you to manage a little bit more than you have to as a position coach. But I've enjoyed every stop, every job responsibility, and I've really enjoyed coaching the inside linebackers throughout my career. So, the roles change from here, from job to job, but really it's all just being with a group of guys and trying to get everybody on the same page.
Thanks, Andy. Welcome to Champaign.
Thanks, Joe.
Hi, Andy. Colin Likas from the News Gazette. Welcome to Champaign and to the team. A lot of the guys that we've talked to, a lot of the guys Brett Bielema has hired, their coaching resumes don't go back quite as far as yours. We haven't seen a lot of 1990s in the coaching resumes we've been given. What do you feel that, if you want to use the word veteran leadership experience, what do you feel you can help bring to the team in that regard with your the more experience you have than maybe some of your fellow assistant coaches?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, this will be my 23rd, 24th year coaching college football. So I've seen things done a lot of different ways, from defending different offenses in practice, to running different styles of defense, and then also being with different head coaches, and I can say this, there's no wrong way or right way. It's just, it's as long as a guy, leading the group is authentic and he's himself, and we can get everybody flowing at the, in the same direction, you could be successful. And so I guess, I just kind of lead by example. I can, bring a positive attitude every day into the office, and and just try and mentor some of the younger guys as we go along. But for the most part, and we have a veteran staff. I mean, they might be young in years, but they're all veteran. You don't get to this position in your career by just being handed a job. These guys have all earned the right to be here, and because of that, you're going to find a high level of technical skills, a high level of character, and one of the greatest things about the staff is that there's some familiarity with all of us, because we've kind of crossed paths in different capacities as we've gone through our career. But yeah, just being positive and making light of certain situations, and then and being on it when we need to be on. So I guess maybe that's what I could bring to the table.
Sure. And you've been in the Big Ten a few different times, 3 different stops, so you've seen what it takes to have success in this league. Specifically for your linebackers, what is it going to take in order for Illinois to experience success in this conference?
Yeah, it's real simple. Just everybody doing their role exceptionally well. And that's the message that we'll go with the linebackers. I think if everybody just does their role exceptionally well, including myself, I think we could have a pretty successful linebacking core. And then obviously health and nutrition and strength and all that stuff needs to continue to develop. But yeah, we're not asking guys to be somebody that they're not. We're just asking them to do their role exceptionally well. And if we can get everybody doing that, I think we could be really successful in that room.
Thank you, Andy.
Andy, I apologize for asking this, but I'm only asking it because you've crisscrossed the country, over the last few stops. But is there a recruiting area that you feel comfortable with that you have contacts with right now that you feel like you can really help this program over the next few years when you go out and look for talent?
Yeah, yeah, because I've been to different parts of the country and coaching in different conferences. I have kind of a wide base, recruiting base. So, I've when I was coaching in the Pac-12 for Stanford, we were more national. And that kind of ignited my recruiting and my coaching career, because I recruited, Texas, Iowa, Florida, the San Joaquin Valley of California. Like I had national areas, Hawaii, and so I've been able to meet a lot of coaches around the country. But I would say, I'm really strong in areas of Texas, really strong anywhere in California, really strong in Hawaii, really strong on the west coast of Florida. But I've also been in St. Louis while I was at Wisconsin. Made some really good connections there. New Jersey, recruited the entire state of New Jersey while I was at Kentucky, and then obviously at my stop at Rutgers. So yeah, there's a lot of places, but most recently I was in Southern California. So that's the talent pool that I know the best right now because I was just in it. And I think that's a big part of recruiting is not just knowing the coaches and where to go, and where all the good players are, but actually knowing who's coming up the pipe and in communication with those young players as you go into the spring season. So I would say right now, Southern California is where I'm probably the strongest because that's where I just came from. But I was most recently, in New Jersey and the west coast of Florida too. So yeah, I still have all those numbers in my phone.
And the follow up there is that obviously Brett's going to have to build this up, and it's a different challenge, obviously for him and for the staff. Has recruiting changed in the 20 plus years you've been doing this, or is it pretty much the same philosophy you've had since you got started?
No, it's pretty much the same. The process has changed. I mean, back when I started recruiting, it was hard to find VHS tape. You had to track down the coach or the mom or the uncle or the aunt, that had the VHS tape that you could take back to the staff to watch. Huddles made that, that process a lot easier. And then obviously with all the great scouting, companies out there that help us, identify players, the process has become simpler to identify guys, but the recruiting part hasn't changed. It's all about relationships and relating to players and in communicating. The more you communicate with a player and the more times you can get them on campus, the better luck you're going to have. And then obviously, finding the right fit. You can find the right fit anywhere, but it's finding the right fit for the school. That really makes the magic in recruiting.
Thanks, Andy. I appreciate it.
Hey, Coach, Bob Asmussen with the News Gazette here in town. You were back to 2012 when you worked with Coach Bielema at Wisconsin. Can you tell me some stories about him? Nothing too embarrassing. Anything jump to your mind? Things that you remember from the year?
Well, I don't know if I have a specific story. I could just tell you this. I've worked for a lot of guys, and I don't think there's, like Brett has his own style, and it's a great style, and I don't know, like, what style that is. It's his very own. And I like to say he's like one of the best CEOs or football coaches I've ever been around because he just is so great at managing people. He's genuine. What he says, he does. And the players love that. They love that part of it. They know what they're going to get. They know what to expect. Everything's very detailed, and as you guys will get to know him, he's very genuine, and he means what he says. So I just love the guy. I love working for him. I love his family. Love his story. I'm very fortunate that he's given me several opportunities to work with him, and I'm just really excited about this whole process. I think he was a big part of the success that he had at the other coaching stops, and that's what's going to make this place so special.
I know you've worked with a lot of great coaches over the years. Where does he fit in the range of guys that are easy to work for, hard to work for, day to day? What's that like with him?
Yeah, I don't want to. You're putting me on the spot, Bob. I don't want to compare like guys, but I'll just say this: he's one of the best that I've worked for. Yeah, one of the best.
Thanks, Coach. Good to meet you.
Yep.
Hi, Coach Buh. Nice to meet you. Alec Buskey from Orange and Blue News Rivals.com. You look at this staff, and as you kind of said, a lot of you guys have crisscrossed paths at previous places. After being here for about a week, I guess, before speaking with us, what kind of camaraderie have you experienced in just a week on the job with, I guess, 9 of the 10 assistants now being named?
Yeah, well, because like a lot of the guys that are here right now, I know. So walking through the door, it wasn't like, "Hi, my name's Andy." It was more, "Hey, come here. I hadn't seen you in a while." So that brings a different, a different mentality, as you walk into the door. It's something that's very different from what I've experienced in the past. I don't think I've ever taken a job where I've known this many of the staff members. So the camaraderie is really, really good right now, and I think we're feeding off of each other, and we communicate really well with each other. So it's been really good. I've only been here a few days, but it's been like clockwork. We've been having a lot of fun, but we've been getting a lot of things done because we kind of know each other.
And then one quick follow-up that I guess I have. Owen Carney, he spoke before. I don't know if you've had a chance to meet him or talk with him yet, but he said there's a new aura, a new kind of energy within that Smith Center. Can you kind of describe what it's been like in there? I know you said that it's a good energy right now, but what's that energy like inside of the building?
Well, the players, we haven't really been, because of the quarantine, they're all just getting back, and they've got to go through protocol to get back into the building. I think a lot of it's just been through phone conversations. We've, all of us, as we've been hired, we've connected with the players right away. So I think that's what he's talking about. I think, a lot of us are talking with a smile on our face, and we can feel that it's going to be a great, like the good things are happening, are going to continue to happen around here. And I think the players are feeling that.
Thanks, Coach. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Coach. Marley Weirda with WCIA. A lot of the defensive coaches that we've talked to said that they kind of want to mold their schemes around the players as opposed to the other way around. Is that kind of a similar philosophy that you have, and what do you maybe just look for your guys to bring here on the field?
Yeah, Marley, how you doing? Yeah, I think those are the best defenses, right? We're not going to fit these players into a scheme. We want to build it around them, what they do really well, and that's part of the things that we were doing this morning. Was we've been going through the roster and watching a lot of video of each individual guy to see what they do well, and that's one of the things that Coach Bielema and Ryan want to do. Is we don't want to just throw a scheme at them and maybe fit a square peg into a round hole. We want to see what we have first, and then kind of develop what we can do off of that. One great thing about the staff, even with Coach Bielema being a defensive coach, we've done it all different types of ways. So we're trying to just build Illinois' defense. And that's what we're currently doing right now. Just really watching and evaluating a lot of the talent that's on the roster right now. And then obviously Ryan's going to put, those pieces in the right, positions to make plays.
Anything you like so far, just from looking at the film that you have, or are you thinking maybe there's some work to be done?
No, we really like a lot of the things that I've seen so far. We started with the front end, and gosh, I'm telling you, like there's a lot of talent up front in the defensive line. I'm really pleased about that. You can tell that there's there are some depth issues, concerns, in certain, like, different parts of the defensive personnel. But yeah, there's a really good nucleus of guys here. I think we're going to have a lot of fun getting to know these guys, and it's going to be fun watching them run around here in winter conditioning, and then ultimately a lot of fun seeing what they can do in the spring.
And sorry, one quick follow-up about Owen Carney. He said that you recruited him in high school. You mentioned there's some talent there on the defensive line. Obviously, he's bringing back a lot of talent. What is it like for you to now finally get a chance to work with him and maybe build your linebackers there around that defensive line and Owen Carney?
Yeah, Owen Carney was a really good player out of Miami Central. I was recruiting him. I was the lead recruiter back in 2017 when I was at a different school. And so we built a relationship back then. So we were just kidding because he was walking out the door as I was walking in, and we remembered all the conversations and the film study and all that stuff that we shared back then. So it's really awesome to be reconnected to him. And it was really good because I watched a lot of film of him this morning to see how he's grown as a college football player. And boy, we're looking for big things out of him. He's got a lot of talent. So I was very pleased to see him in the hallway, and then also to find out that he was coming back, for his senior year.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Nice to meet you.
Thanks.
Hey, Coach, I had a quick follow-up here. How did this all come together with Brett? Did you think you might hear from him? Were you a little surprised when he's on the other end of a phone call? What was all this like?
Well, obviously, as soon as he got the job, Coach Bielema and I have been in contact, throughout the years. So when he got the job, I congratulated him, and I wasn't expecting a phone call to come back to me right away. But, soon after that, Coach reached out to me, and then it kind of just took off from there. Again, anytime you get a job like this, it's a blessing, right? They're very hard to get, so when those types of things happen, you get phone calls from newly hired head coaches, particularly the ones that you like and have worked for before. It's really an awesome feeling. So yeah, it was really good to get that phone call from him. It was really good to come and meet, the staff and meet with Coach Walters, and then it's been even icing on the cake to be here in the building and actually be here. So the whole process has been really cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Go ahead. Last question here.
Andy, I'm curious about this film stuff you're doing with the other coaches when you're watching, the players that are currently on this roster, and whether or not it could be kind of cool to go through a spring this year and try to evaluate who fits where, and maybe those conversations you'll have in the staff of, boy, that guy's played defensive line his whole career, but I'd like to have him, in my room. It just seems like that give and take might be happening a lot this spring for you guys to be able to formulate whatever you guys want to do, philosophy-wise, defensively.
Yeah, some of the things that we've been doing is we've been evaluating them, mostly about how they move, their effort to the football, where their technical skills are. And then, one of the things that Coach Walters and Coach Bielema want out of this is how we can help them get better, like identifying things that we can see that will help them get better, and be better players. So it's just the start to the process. I think we're taking the time it takes right now, so it takes less time. We're fortunate to have this time together. And with a later spring football practice, it's allocated some time here so we can actually really dive into what kind of talent we have in the building, and then mold plans for each guy to get better, and improve their game.
Thanks, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Coach.